Welcome back everyone to WEDO Canada Pay It Forward. I am really excited to have the founder and CEO of 7 Point Trends, Janet Sawatsky. Janet Sawatsky combines her expert analytic insights with her passion for process to help exhausted CEOs and stymied solopreneurs to revamp and re-energize their operations, powering their businesses to new heights of success by liberating them to enjoy more of their quality me time that they so desire and deserve. Welcome, I'm Milena and this is WEDO Pay It Forward. Thank you, Janet, for being here on our podcast. We're so excited to have you. Can you please tell us a little bit about your company, and then we can talk about your journey?
Sure, Milena. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very happy to be here today. My name is Janet Sawatsky, and I am with 7 Point Trends, and I am the CEO and founder of my company. And we help small businesses figure out where they're at. So I go in and do an assessment of where they're at and help them figure out where they want to go. And then I develop a plan to help them get there. So that's what we do at our company. And also, I'm married. I have a 5-year-old daughter. She's going to be starting kindergarten in the fall. I'm really looking forward to that stage. And yeah, I'm really excited to grow my business.
So there's a lot of different people who are listening to our podcast. So you're probably the first person that we've had that's a new entrepreneur. So tell us about the journey of you being an employee, working for the government, and then deciding I'm going to start my own business. Because there are a lot of people don't take that risk. And I think it would be really important to see how your journey progressed and some tips that you could give to our audience.
Sure, I'd be happy to. To be honest, I was working for the government for 15 years. I had been there a long time as a business strategist, and I was laid off. And so when I was laid off, I had two choices. I could either get another job or I could start my own business. And I took the risk of starting my own business. It is not an easy decision to make. You need to think carefully about it because being an employee is very different than being an entrepreneur.
That's right. Yep.
I'm really glad that I took the risk. I love being an entrepreneur. There are a lot of ups and there are some downs as well. So there's a lot of trade-offs that you need to consider when you make the decision because number one, you're not guaranteed a paycheck. You need to earn your paycheck and you need to work hard for that paycheck by making sales. And if you're not able and willing to do that, your company won't be profitable or sustainable. So you do need to decide whether that's for you or not, because it is a little bit different when you're an employee because you can really count on that paycheck, whereas you're an entrepreneur, it's all on you and
That's
you're
right.
building a company. And you need to make sure that you have plan A, B, and C because things don't always go the way that you think that they're going to go. For example, the pandemic was very challenging to get through as a business owner.
Yeah.
Many business owners faced a lot of hardships. But I would make the same choice again.
Oh, fantastic. I know my first business, it was a consulting business too. And it is a very hard, I remember I spent more time in the first year doing business development than actual consulting and doing the contract work with clients. So can you talk to us about what is the one tip? So say in the first 2 years that you started your business, what are some good tips that you could give to an aspiring entrepreneur who's right now doing their business plan and really looking at, okay, here's my forecast short-term and long-term. So what should they look for?
I'd be happy to comment on that. From my perspective and my entrepreneurial journey, don't try to do everything yourself. One of the mistakes that many leaders make are trying to have too many balls in the air and trying to do everything. And so I would really recommend to people that you bring in the experts when you need to, which means you need to make your business profitable so that you can do that when you need to.
Right.
So really, don't try to do everything yourself. Know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and then play to your strengths and hire for your weaknesses.
Oh, great tip. I love that. I hope everybody got that. One of the things I remember I did this, it was like a strength finder with my team. So you could look at what are some of the strengths that you have and how you can actually even grow on the strength and rely on your team for the weaknesses. And I think that's a really good tip for any entrepreneur, not for themselves only, but also part of their team. They could look at their team and say, where do you need the support? And it's a great opportunity to have teammates helping each other out.
Absolutely, because we all have strengths and weaknesses, and we need to play to our strengths and do what you love to do. Don't spend time doing things that you don't like doing.
Oh, yes.
Why? Life is too short. Really try to find out what you're good at and stick to those things. And then, you don't always have to pay for services at the beginning, because at the beginning you do have to do everything yourself.
Right.
Like, let's face it, you have to do everything. But then once you get going, you can bring in friends to give you a hand once in a while, or you could get an intern, or perhaps you could do trade for services or something like that. Like, you can do some communications for me and I can do some strategic planning. There are ways that you can help each other, and I really believe that helping other entrepreneurs is really great for building relationships and helping each other when we need it. And it's good for sales too.
Oh, I love hearing that. That's a really wonderful tip. What is next in your journey as an entrepreneur and in your business right now?
Well, my business is really growing, so I'm very excited about that.
Fantastic.
It has been a journey. Number one, educating myself in business, because I come from I supported myself in my education, and then I had a government job, and so that's a very different perspective, working for not-for-profits and then shifting to working for business. So I needed to really do some personal development and investment in myself for learning, what the differences are and how can I help business owners in a way and not be helping, the not-for-profit sector. So that was a bit of an education and a steep learning curve. But I think that, once you've made the commitment to get on the journey, you need to take risks and you need to dig in, and you keep that commitment and you don't give up, because you don't get rewarded if you quit.
That's right. And you know what? One of the things I've always spoken to, as a woman entrepreneur, statistically it is shown women are not great at taking risks, where men have a tendency to go full force. And it actually showcases on our looking for financing and so forth, because we're more conservative on our financial planning and our financial projections than men do. Statistically, it's shown, and it's an unfortunate one that we need to be better at taking the risk and taking the next step. And like you said, there's a difference between spending other people's money and spending your own. So you're right on. Like, we have to be cognizant of every penny that we spend. But then, like you said, there's a trade-off, and do a SWOT analysis, right?
Exactly.
And there is an opportunity and threat for us personally as well. Like, if you take on too much, then the threat is that you can burn out. So the cost-benefit analysis to hire someone, like you said, is really good.
Absolutely. And we have to, as women, we've been conditioned not to take risks, and we have to get out of that. And so one of the ways that I've done that is to educate myself. And if you get educated, financial literacy is key. And once you break those barriers of, I don't know how to do that, just educate yourself. There's so much information out there. It's pretty easy to get good information, reliable information. Talk to people that you trust. Hire people that you trust. And take their advice. Take their expert advice.
Oh, fantastic. So with that, what would you say was the best advice or tip that was given to you in the growth of your business?
That's a really tough one. I have to say, the best tip. I think there's two. I think it would be financial literacy.
Okay.
You know, you really need to understand business and how it works, and get yourself educated around finance, because you're going to have to know to run your own company. Number two is be confident in who you are, know who you are, and be courageous. You have to, as an entrepreneur, just try things. You're going to make some mistakes, and that's okay. We're not perfect. I've made mistakes. People in business make mistakes. You learn from it and you move on. And it's like, oh, I won't do that again, you know?
Yeah.
And so be confident and, you know, educate yourself where you need to.
I love that. So I've got one question left. If you could think of a woman who's been inspirational in your journey, who would that be?
Well, that's a really good question. There's a lot of women that I look up to in my journey, and I just like to name a few because one is impossible. Stacey Barr, Kelly Ruda, Tara Newman, and Sandra Bell. Because they all have inspired me in my journey. They help other women with their expertise. And I really admire women who have an expertise to share with the world to help change the world and make it a better place. So when I see these women who are in business, they have a particular expertise, and then they are teaching me that expertise so that I can go forward. Those are the women that I look up to. I know them, I trust them, they know what they're doing. They're helping people, and for me, those are the women that I want to surround myself with.
Fantastic. Janet, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, audience, for listening in. Janet, where can somebody get a hold of you and your business to learn more about the services that you could help an entrepreneur or a solopreneur?
Well, thank you very much. It's my privilege to be here today. I would love to connect with people who are looking to grow their business. You can find me at 7pointtrends.com, or you can also connect with me on LinkedIn.
Thank you, Janet, for your time and for allowing me to interview you. Thank you, audience, for listening in to WEDO Pay It Forward, and stay tuned for our next guest. I would like to thank our sponsor, Ingrid Carlton of Ingrid's Digital Desk, for paying it forward and supporting women leaders and female entrepreneurs. If you are inspired and want to join the WeDo community, then go on WeDoCanada.com and also nominate and sponsor the next inspirational woman.